The Tiv people of central Nigeria, known for their fierce independence and strong communal structures, resisted British invasion and colonization during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The British, expanding their colonial reach into the Benue River Valley and surrounding areas, encountered significant opposition from the Tiv, whose decentralized political system and guerrilla tactics made subjugation difficult. Despite their prolonged resistance, the Tiv were eventually conquered through a combination of military force, strategic diplomacy, and administrative restructuring by the British colonial authorities. By the late 19th century, European powers, particularly Britain and France, were competing to establish control over West Africa as part of the broader scramble for Africa. The British sought to consolidate their grip over the Niger Benue region, which was strategically important for trade and resource extraction. The British colonial presence in Nigeria was formalized through treaties, military campaigns, and indirect rule, with the conquest of northern Nigeria, including the Sokoto Caliphate, by 1903. However, the Tiv people who had successfully resisted previous incursions from the Sokoto Caliphate and other neighboring groups posed a unique challenge to the British expansion. The Tiv people employed several strategies in their resistance against British forces, including guerrilla warfare. Tiv warriors utilized the dense forests, river valleys, and hills of their homeland to launch ambushes against British patrols and disrupt colonial supply lines. They engaged in hit-and-run attacks, making it difficult for the British to establish a foothold. Decentralized leadership. The Tiv operated under a decentralized system of governance with no central authority or king, relying instead on clan and lineage-based leadership. This structure made it difficult for the British to negotiate treaties or establish control through a single leader. Fortified settlements. Tiv communities were strategically located and fortified, making direct assaults costly for the British forces. They used defensive structures and natural barriers to their advantage. Alliance building. The Tiv forged alliances with neighboring groups to strengthen their resistance efforts against colonial forces. Cultural resistance. The Tiv were deeply attached to their traditions and spiritual beliefs, which further motivated a resistance to foreign rule and assimilation. British military campaigns and conquest of the Tiv. The British employed a combination of military force, punitive expeditions, and diplomacy to eventually subdue the Tiv people. Initial British incursions into Tiv land were met with stiff resistance, with Tiv warriors attacking British trading posts and disrupting communication lines. British forces conducted punitive raids, burning villages and seizing livestock in retaliation. The British launched several large-scale military campaigns against Tiv strongholds, using Maxim guns, early machine guns, and well-armed troops to suppress resistance. Tiv warriors, armed mainly with spears, bows, and poisoned arrows, struggled against the superior firepower of the British. The British exploited internal rivalries among Tiv clans, offering incentives to some leaders in exchange for cooperation and information about their opponents. This weakened the unity of the Tiv resistance and allowed the British to gradually gain control. By 1914, the Tiv were effectively subdued following a series of brutal expeditions that destroyed key settlements and broke their organized resistance. British forces established administrative centers and introduced indirect rule through appointed leaders known as warrant chiefs, who were not part of the traditional governance system. After military conquest, the British imposed new systems of taxation, forced labor, and indirect rule, gradually integrating the Tiv into the colonial economy and administration. Resistance continued in the form of tax revolts and passive resistance, but large-scale military confrontations ceased. Some key figures in the Tiv resistance were Usha Bo, a traditional Tiv leader. He was a warrior and a local leader who played a prominent role in organizing resistance against the British. He coordinated several guerrilla attacks on British forces before being captured and exiled. Taki Oshi, a respected elder and strategist, an influential figure in Tiv land who sought to maintain traditional customs while resisting British economic and political encroachment, known for rallying local clans to resist British taxation policies, and other anonymous thief clan leaders. Due to the decentralized structure of thief society, numerous local leaders organized their communities in opposition to colonial forces, often engaging in isolated but fierce battles against the British. Some key British colonial figures include Sir Frederick Lugard, who was the governor of Nigeria from 1912 to 1919. The architect of British indirect rule in Nigeria, Lugard oversaw military operations and administrative changes in Tivland. He implemented policies aimed at pacifying resistant groups and integrating them into colonial framework. Captain Hugh Trenchard, a British military officer. He led several punitive expeditions against the Tiv people and played a role in the use of military force to suppress resistance. His actions contributed significantly to the final conquest of Tivland. Lord Harcourt, a colonial secretary. He oversaw British colonial policy from London and supported military interventions to subdue resistant regions such as Tivland. The aftermath and consequences of the British conquest. Aftermath and conquest of the British conquest. Once the Tiv people were subdued, they were gradually incorporated into the British colonial system through 1. Indirect rule. British administrators appointed warrant chiefs and strict heads to enforce colonial policies, undermining traditional Tiv leadership structures. 2. Economic exploitation. The Tiv were drawn into the colonial economy with their land used for cash crops such as cotton and their labor conscripted for public works and agriculture. 3. Missionary influence. Christian missionaries introduced Western education and religion, leading to significant cultural transformations and the erosion of traditional beliefs. 4. Resistance through political engagement. In later years, the Tiv adapted by engaging in political activism within colonial and post-colonial Nigeria, becoming influential in national politics. Legacy of the resistance. The Tiv resistance to the British colonization remains a powerful part of their identity today. Their struggle is remembered as a testament to their resilience and determination to maintain their cultural heritage. While colonization brought changes that reshaped Tiv society, the unique identity, language, and cultural values have remained strong in modern Nigeria.